against Croatia. Our match commentators are David Provan and first, Ian Crocker.
Thank you, Jim. Scotland the brave, Scotland the team. The surprise selection is Everton's Gary Naismith, who's only played 1 minute of football this season because of a thigh strain. His inclusion allows Dominic Matteo to join the back three. Billy Dodd's lack of action at Rangers has cost him a place. Scott Boove is part of a three-pronged attack with Hutchison and McCann. Celtic pair Tom Boyd and Robert Douglas both have slight knocks, so Dundee United keeper Paul Gallagher is on the bench. The former West Ham and Derby defender Igor Stimac has come out of international retirement. He last played last year against Scotland. 7 of the 11 started in Ireland last month, including Chelsea's Mario Stanic and Aston Villa's Boško Balaban. Some big clubs represented here: Juventus, Inter Milan, Bayern Munich, and Portsmouth, with the presence of Prosinecki.
Yeah, well, like the guys in the studio, Ian, I've no complaints at all about the Scottish team. A very offensive-looking side that Craig Brown and Archie Knox have picked this afternoon. And I think that's what we have to do, try and go out and win this game. A back three of Elliott, Weir and Matteo. We do believe that Dominic Matteo may be asked to pick up Boško Balaban and that David Weir may push out all the way onto Robert Prosinecki. Either way, Prosinecki and Stanic are the two of Croatia's midfield who will give Balaban the most support, and they really are the goal threat from that Croatian midfield. Further up the pitch, it's effectively going to be 4 against 4. Gary Naismith, well, a lot being asked of him this afternoon, and we just hope he's got enough in his legs and his lungs to last the 90 minutes. This pair here, I'd put in against anyone these days. So good have they been for the Scottish side. The Croatian midfield a bit more defensive. Thomas and Soldo like to sit goal side. And of that 4, Jarni is the one who might give us the problem if he gets down the outside. He has a terrific final ball. As Charlie said, it's the front three, or a similar front three to that did so well at Wembley a couple of seasons ago with Booth in for Billy Dodds today. I think we have to try and get Neil McCann on the ball. I don't think for a minute, though, that Tudor, Stimac and Kovac will want to go man for man in our front three, and I think that may mean that Zivkovic may have to drop off and pick up Neil McCann.
We have Scotland, we have Croatia, we have Hampden, we have the World Cup. It's international football at its finest. The stakes are high because the prize is precious. A trip to Japan and South Korea would be quite a trek for the Tartan Army, but they'll get there if they have to. They always get there, and the World Cup would be poorer without them. Croatia are well represented here today, though. Their team more than capable of sublime skill and tantalising technique, but they can dig in too. The two teams almost ready to make their entrance into the national stadium. For the players of Scotland and Croatia, it's time to stick their chests out, to hold heads high, to do or die for their country. So often when it really matters, Scotland rise to the occasion. And this is one of those occasions to rise to. Before the action, of course, the anthems. In 272 days' time it will begin. A fabulous festival of football, the greatest soccer show on earth, the World Cup. If you're not involved, it really, really hurts. Scotland and Croatia desperately want to be a part of it, but they have to earn the right to be there. Now is the time to earn that right. But the Bravehearts will have to be at their bravest today, because Scotland are up against the country that came third at the last World Cup in France. It is time to deliver. West Ham's Don Hutchison is such a key man for Scotland, but remember, if he's booked today, he will miss Wednesday's game in Belgium. Not many had Gary Naismith down to start today, except Craig Brown. The 22-year-old wins his 5th cap, still an international rookie. This man isn't a rookie, though. Robert Prosinecki may be advancing in years, but he can still make things happen for Croatia and for Pompey. The man in charge of Scotland against Croatia is Lubos Michel of Slovakia. It's a defining moment for Scottish football, David.
Yeah, and I think it's a very strong, attacking-looking Scottish side. In average age, 29, so no lack of experience. And really, apart from Barry Ferguson, Craig really has a full pick here this afternoon. And it's the Croatian side, remember, that is without Boksic and Rapajic. And one or two of them maybe a bit short of match fitness. Robert Prosinecki still needs games, and so does Robert Jarni, who's been in dispute with Las Palmas. So I don't think we're ever going to have a better chance of beating the side that finished third in France 3 years ago.
The World Cup begins on the last day of May 2002. The first day of September 2001 is a date with destiny for Scotland and for Croatia. Both are full of Far Eastern promise. Both could still make it, but Hampden Park is no place for losers today, that is for sure. Jarni, who could be a strong influence down the left-hand side for Croatia. Prosinecki's first touch is a poor one. The Scots will be happy if he carries on like that. Gary Naismith, a surprise choice for Scotland. Here's Tudor of Juventus. Mario Stanic of Chelsea, who scored in the dying moments at Southampton last week for his club, and he too will be a key performer for his country today. Boris Zivkovic was just caught by Naismith then.
I think he's caught well late here, Ian. Yeah, Gary Naismith badly mistiming the challenge. Not convinced there was an awful lot of contact. He may just have made the most of that.
Zivkovic, in fact, like Naismith, a bit of a surprise choice in the starting lineup for Croatia. Jarni. Thomas tumbles, but nothing doing that time. He plays his football in Italy with Vicenza, who were relegated from Serie A last season. Hutchison now a hammer again, having joined West Ham for a second spell. Scott Booth doing battle with Igor Stimac, who's come out of international retirement. Answered the call from his country. Stimac now back home with Hajduk Split, having been a popular figure in his time at Derby and a largely injured figure in his time at West Ham. Hutchinson turns away from Kovac. Scott Booth won't get to it. It carries through to Pretikosa.
Terrific turn though by Don Hutchison, who looks, even this early in the match, right in the mood. And it really is amazing how comfortable this lad looks at this level, having arrived on the international scene so late.
Matt Elliott taking the no-nonsense approach with Balaban close by. Group 6, the only European qualifying group to have 3 unbeaten teams in it. Scotland, Croatia and Belgium, but with all 3 involved in vital games this week, something's got to give in the race for a place in the World Cup finals. Robert Jarni. Won't quite get it back from Stanic though. Christian Daly lets it roll. Daly now has Don Hutchison as a club teammate as well as an international teammate. Yanni's header met by Elliott. Stanic. Free kick conceded by David Weir.
Good turn by the Chelsea player, Ian. And it's he, along with Robert Prosinecki, who will supply the support to Bosko Balaban. Interesting to see how Balaban handles leading the line today. Played off the front in Dublin with Alan Boxic up front. Interesting to see how he gets on this afternoon.
Well, Croatia's free kick came to nothing, and Paul Lambert picks out Boov, his former Borussia Dortmund teammate. Scott Boov breaking away, not much support for him down there. But McCann is in the box, and so too is Hutchison, and Croatia looked very, very uncomfortable.
Well, they had to wait an awful long time for support, Scott Booth here, but he did the right thing. He knows the support will get there eventually. Neil McCann makes a diagonal front post. Don Hutchison's in there, goalkeeper, and all sorts of problems here. And a good delivery there by Scott Booth, asking a question early on of Pletikosa.
Here's Robert Kovac of Bayern Munich, whose brother Nico played in Ireland but has been left on the bench today. Stanic now, who was injured for so much of last season. It's some run this though from Mario Stanic. Eventually it's taken off his toes by Weir. Scott Booth gets the free kick. He now plays his football in Holland with 20 Enschede. Made a return to the international scene after a 3-year absence in Poland in April and scored from the spot. If Scotland get a penalty though today, that particular duty will belong to Don Hutchison. And Booth goes to ground, but the referee's not interested. Stimac. Zivkovic leaves it for Igor Tudor, one of the rising stars of Croatian football. Some of their players may be getting on a bit, but not him. Balaban came to meet him. Stimac to Yanni, who was at Coventry for about 5 minutes before moving to Real Madrid. And Yanni's got in here. Stanic waiting in the middle, and Elliott's clearance has only gone to Balaban. And it's diverted away.
Well, that's the final ball I referred to, Ian, when we're talking about Robert Yarney. Good ball up at the inside of Christian Daly. And even though he's short of games, he was quick enough to get on the end of it. And it was a good saving clearance here by Matt Elliott.
Elliott in the right place. But here comes the corner. And the man to take it will be Robert Prosinecki. Not a great corner by Prosinecki. Hutchison clears, but the danger far from over yet for Scotland. Away by Scotland again, and Matteo was important for them that time. Stanic, Prosinecki. Stanic did quite well to steer it towards him, in fact. Igor Tudor electing to go backwards to Stimac. Into a handball from Neil McCann. Kovac. Yanni. David Weir. Balaban took a bit of a tumble then, which doesn't bring him any reward. Came on as a late sub for Aston Villa against Manchester United last week, and almost scored, in fact, if I recall. Lifted one over the bar. Neil McCann ready to run at Croatia. Craig Burley. Burley closing in on the SFA Hall of Fame, his 43rd cap today. Zivkovic. Weir's header. But here's Thomas, and now Igor Tudor, who'll be coming back to Glasgow with Juventus when they play Celtic in the Champions League. This is Soldo, who's been around a long time. 53 caps. Tudor. The Croatians naturally very comfortable in possession. They might well get their fair share of it.
Their touch is delightful. We watched them train here at Hampden yesterday, and their technique is a joy to watch. And really that's why, as Gary McAllister was saying, you really have to hustle them and make sure they don't have any time on the ball. If you stand off this side, they'll kill you.
And their defensive record is pretty admirable too. In fact, across all the European qualifying groups for the World Cup, only Sweden have let in fewer goals than Croatia. Just 2 conceded in the group. Mind you, Scotland have only let in 3. Here's Tudor. No foul. Booth. Daly. Elliott, who has been suffering from a touch of tonsillitis this week and was a doubt for the game. Naismith gives it back to Dominic Matteo, who's been in fantastic early season form for Leeds United alongside England's Rio Ferdinand in the heart of their defence. Hutchison. Daly lets it go for the throw. Hutchison eager to receive. Looking to put Daly in, but between them Yanni and Stimac should sort that one out. Christian Daly gets it back. Lambert, the captain. This time it's a Croatian throw. Croatia with just 2 defeats in their last 22 internationals. Pretty impressive. That's the size of the task facing Lambert and co today. Mirko Josic is the man in charge. He replaced Miroslav Blažević, who has given the boot after Croatia were held by Scotland last year in Zagreb. Josic, in fact, has been around the national side for quite a while, in charge of youth football. Christian Daly's got a free kick. Kovac saw it coming though. Yanni. Hutchison as fired up as ever. Been a busy week for him, of course, completing his move from Sunderland to West Ham for £5 million. Had to get a bit of time off away from the Scotland camp to complete a medical. Hutchison the hammer, hoping to hammer Croatia today. Tudor. Prosinecki to Zivkovic. And Balaban will get the free kick. Dominic Matteo right down the back of him.
Yeah, it's a needless one because Dominic Matteo is in charge here. He's in a good position. And Balaban wasn't really going anywhere out in that touchline.
Kovac gives it to Yanni. Up towards, it nearly carried to Stanic, and Scotland forced into conceding another corner.
That's a good ball. Stanic going beyond Balaban here. Whipped in there by Yanni. And again it was Matt Elliott who made the saving header. And Yanni's final ball really is a bit special at times.
Robert Prosinecki delivers. Scotland with Hutchison desperately trying to dig this one out, and he's taking on Tudor, who's surely going to foul him sooner or later. And in the end, he's managed to burrow it out for a throw. Boris Zivkovic with the throw. Stanic with the flick on, but across comes Neil Sullivan. 7 clean sheets in his last 13 games for Scotland. Done pretty well for Spurs as well.
Croatia having most of the ball in, but Yarni for me the more dangerous of all of them so far with the final ball. That apart, they haven't really given us too many problems. We really haven't managed to get to them at the other end.
Lambert was trying to put Christian Daly in. Yarni. Kozinecki. Robert Yarni. He really can put a cross in, and Stanic was there. And there's still problems here with Zivkovic, and in the end Scotland sweep it away, but another warning and another decent cross from Yarni.
Yeah, another terrific final ball, but I don't really think we can afford to stand off this lad in and give him that amount of time to measure the cross. Good block by Neil Sullivan there from Stanic. But I think Yarni had already posted the warning, and we'll have to get a bit tighter on him.
Robert Yarni not actually getting a game himself at the moment at club level. He is with Las Palmas in Spain, but they are in financial peril at the moment as the flag goes up against Mario Stanic. Yarni, who might have become, well, he did become a Coventry player, but only for a few minutes, then he went off to Real Madrid. Can't imagine why he preferred the Bernabeu to Highfield Road. Mirko Josic yet to lose. 4 wins and 2 draws so far. A quarter of an hour played at Hampden. No goals between Scotland and Croatia in this crunch World Cup qualifier. That's a little bit awkward for Neil Sullivan. And he has gone behind. Ironically, he got there, but it is a corner.
I was not too impressed, Neil Sullivan, with the pass back. To be fair, Neil McCann was under pressure to keep it in the first place.
Kozinecki takes the quick corner, trying to catch Scotland out. Sullivan looked like he might have been impeded then. It's still not gone away. I don't think that was meant to be a pass by Yarni, but it has gone to Kozinecki. Zivkovic waiting behind. Now Thomas. Kovacs will probably give it to Robert Yarni. Oh, he's gone for goal. Took a little bobble maybe as he went to hit that one, Robert Yarni, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, previous to that, another ball into the back post area. I agree with you, and I think he's impeded by Balaban there, Neil Sullivan.
Sullivan rather relieved that the situation was dealt with because there was no whistle. Hutchison. I think he felt he should have had a free kick then, and also might have had a point. Scotland, incredibly, have only lost 1 World Cup qualifier on home soil since 1965. That was a defeat against Wales in the 80s, when Ian Rush got the winning goal. Thomas. Stanic will return it to Thomas. Yarni. Balaban had peeled away a little bit. Neil McCann came back though, no foul. Matteo went in, but Scotland have given it away, and here's Kozinecki. Matteo is back on his feet. Soldo. Tudor has come forward. Here he is again. Not a very good cross from him though. A defender's cross that. And Lambert, of all people, has given it away, and Sullivan was stretching and just got his fingertips to it to foil Soldo.
That's a terrific save here. Paul Lambert, the last man you would expect to give the ball away in that position. And maybe it fell to the right man in Soldo, who doesn't get too many international goals. Good reflex stopper by Sullivan.
Yes, just 2 goals in 52 games for Croatia from Soldo, so just as well that it was him in the picture then. Prosinecki floats it in, and he'll get the chance to do the same again as Hutchison steers it over for another corner. But the Scots are on the back foot. Neil Sullivan's goal being bombarded a little at the moment. Soldo amongst those waiting. His efforts won the corner initially. Prosinecki now to take a second in succession. Prosinecki right into the 6-yard box. Good fist on it from Sullivan. Yanni will give it back to Prosinecki of Portsmouth. Don Hutchison introduces himself. And Scotland showing signs, although they've got a free kick there, showing signs of a little bit of carelessness.
Well, I think the referee's letting 1 or 2, let's say, careless challenges go in. Young referee, early 30s. I think eventually he's going to have to give the players a warning here. A few meaty ones being exchanged this early in the match.
Almost 8 years in charge now of the national team, Craig Brown. Only Paul Philippe of Luxembourg has been in charge longer in Europe, and let's face it, if you're a coach of Luxembourg, you're not really going to get the sack for losing the odd game, are you? Thomas. Yanni. Igor Stimac. Actually picked up a European ban following an incident in the tunnel after Magic Split's Champions League qualifier with Mallorca. Croatia on the prowl again. Balaban's cross. Christian Daly was aware of the presence of Soldo, and he's actually got the throw off him. Christian Daly, very much one of Craig Brown's favourites, winning his 28th cap today. Craig Burley's challenge. Stanic, and that's bounced off him. It'll be a goal kick. Remember on the opening day of last season being at Stamford Bridge when he scored a stunner against West Ham on the volley, but so many injury problems during the course of the campaign left him immensely frustrated. He's raring to go this season for club and country. Yeah, he looks happy in that position as well. He did play right side against Ireland 2 weeks ago in Dublin, but now that Zivkovic has come in on that side, it's released him to get forward, and he looks as if he's enjoying himself. Hutchison nicely down for Craig Burley, who helps it on to Neil McCann. Naismith going outside of him. Got a bit to do there though, because Tudor's coming across, and it's gone against Naismith, as you can probably gather.
Tudor over immediately there to match the run of Gary Naismith. But I think we'll have to try and get Neil McCann on the ball in those kind of areas, Ian. And you know, if he plays too deep, you know, I think Zivkovic will just push up onto him. If Neil McCann decides to play further up the pitch, Zivkovic is going to have to drop off with him, and it will give McCann a far better starting position if he plays higher up.
Thomas. Zivkovic looking for Stanic, but Matt Elliott, oh, he's missed his kick, and now he's held Stanic back, and that will be a free kick, but the referee showing no... Oh, he is going to show a card to Elliott.
Yeah, I think it's a tug on the jersey, a tug on his right arm there. Stanic on his way. And Matt Elliott may consider that a card worth taking, actually, because Stanic was in a very good position. But with Prosinecki over this, we're going to have to be on our toes here.
First yellow card of the game goes to Elliott. Prosinecki hits the wall, but he'll get a second chance. Neil McCann trying to hold him up. And now another free kick and possibly another card here unless the referee lets McCann off. And he has let him off.
It's terrific feat again from Prosinecki. He's certainly carrying a bit weighty, not the player he once was, but the technique is superb.
In fact, he has got a yellow card, Neil McCann, and that means he's out of the Belgium game in midweek. He was already on a yellow. The referee had a long think about it. He didn't bring his card out for a while, but Neil McCann has been booked and won't be going to Belgium.
I think he let a few dodgy challenges go early on in the match, and it was only a matter of time before he produced a yellow or two.
Prosinecki tries again, and a high boot will give Scotland a free kick, and they'll be glad for a little bit of breathing space. Igor Stimac, the offender.
Wouldn't want to fight him, would you?
You were pretty scared interviewing him yesterday, weren't you?
Dear. What's a size?
So Neil McCann won't be able to play in Belgium. Don Hutchison, remember, is also on a yellow card, but he's been on the receiving end there, bringing Scotland a free kick. Lambert. Daly. Craig Burley. Scott Booth, his first touch, allowed Soldo to make a challenge. Mario Stanic. And he's been taken out by Scott Booth. Scotland are really flying in with their challenges.
Well, the yellow card stays in the referee's pocket this time. Scott Booth, I think, fortunate. Once again, it's Stanic who's the victim.
Well, Elliott and McCann booked in quick succession, but not Booth, by Lubos Michel of Slovakia. He's only 33, in fact. Yarni. Balaban lost his way.
Well, not surprisingly, the Croats having the better of the action areas. And I think we're reasonably fortunate, Ian, not to have lost anything.
Scotland have been to 6 of the last 7 World Cups. They missed out on the USA in 1994. Craig Brown hoping to take them to Japan and South Korea next year. Scott Booth really felt that one as Stimac challenged him. There was a hint of a quick free kick, but Croatia, unlike some players south of the border this season, quickly got in the way of the ball.
Yeah, Stimac and Tudor. It may have been Tudor who caught him. Oh, you're right, Ian, it was Stimac. Well attended there, though, Scott Booth. This is a chance to ask a question of this young goalkeeper here.
Pleticosa, just 22 years of age, his 14th cap. Is he going to be tested by Scotland? Hutchison floated in, it was quickly cleared by Soldo. Stanic. Firm header from David Weir. Scotland have a man down in the box. It's Booth again, in the walls. It doesn't look very clever.
I just wonder if it happened off the ball when the free kick was thrown into the box.
Oh, he's taken a right whack there, Scott Booth, and
oh, that's a left-hander there. Left-hander there from Kovac.
Scott Booth, thankfully, is okay, but Robert Kovac's got away with that one. on a ground where Colin Hendry didn't get away with it, of course, against San Marino last time Scotland were here. Not quite as firm an elbow as that, perhaps, but Booth still in need of treatment. Well, it's ruined his looks, that's for sure. Scott Booth still being attended to. Here is Kovac, who has left Booth needing treatment. Brozinecki. Tudor. Stanic. David Weir was sticking close to him. Well, Scott Booth looks ready to rejoin the action. Actually got a pretty decent record of scoring goals at international level, Scott Booth, although he's been out of the picture for a few years. 6 goals in 18 for his country, which even with my limited knowledge of mathematics works out at 1 in 3, which is pretty good going. Brozinecki. Fouled by Dominic Matteo. He crunched into Balaban. The Leeds Aston Villa contest that. Tudor. Tudor again, sending it across, this time to Robert Yanni. But now a chance for Neil McCann to lead a Scottish charge. Lambert. Christian Daly looking to combine with Naismith. Nothing doing though for Scotland. Naismith keeping calm. Harry Naismith actually had a thigh strain at the start of the season, hence he only came on for the last minute of Everton's last game against Middlesbrough last week. Craig Burley. He's had a good start to the season with Derby.
Neil McCann now playing right side for Scotland. Christian Daly has gone into that back three now. They've pushed Dominic Matteo forward a bit. But I do think they've got to try and get more of the ball into McCann's feet.
Booth had his arm held by Tudor. Just over half an hour played, and the Scotland captain Paul Lambert trying to inspire the brave hearts now with this free kick. Lambert was actually looking for McCann. Here is Matteo. Craig Burley, he can put a good cross in normally. Just too high for Elliott, and it won't quite reach Christian Daly, although Tudor has knocked it out. 23 caps for the 23-year-old Igor Tudor. Celtic fans beware him and Juventus in the Champions League. Hutchison doesn't get a free kick. Burley. Weir. Elliott, who missed Leicester's game at Arsenal last week because of his throat problems. after making a dismal start to the season. Probably a bit of relief for Elliott to get away and concentrate on international matters. Kovac, Stanic, shaking off Weir and giving it to Prosinecki. Balaban moves out to that right-hand side. There was nobody else really there. Although here comes Šefčovič, who's with Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. Soldo. Prosinecki. Tudor. They'll happily spray the passes around, keeping possession. Prosinecki. Soldo was stretching a little bit, and now Scotland will get the free kick. And the referee, if he's consistent here, might show a card to Soldo. He's going to.
Yeah, gets good cover here from Tudor anyway, but you see the left arm up there from Soldo.
Zvonimir Soldo of Stuttgart becomes the first Croatian to be booked, joining Elliott and McCann. And that yellow card for McCann, remember, rules him out of the trip to Belgium on Wednesday. Elliott. Lambert. Scotland trying to prize apart this oh-so-tight Croatian defence, which has such a remarkable record in these World Cup qualifiers. But Burley benefits as it cannons off Kovac.
Yeah, good to see Craig Burley in that kind of positioning, prepared to go beyond the front two into the inside right channel there. And one thing that does do is get defenders turning.
10 minutes of the first half remaining. McCann sends it in, the young keeper put under pressure, and the free kick has been given, the whistle blown by the referee.
Free kick given, but he wasn't convincing, was he? Terrific corner whipped in there to the back post by Neil McCann. And they're certainly entitled to go and attack that. And the goalie, well, didn't fancy the challenge.
Well, Scotland will hope to put a few more of those sort of deliveries in against the young keeper, who has replaced Ladic as first choice for Croatia. Poor kick out there, but eventually helped on by Robert Kovac. Boob loses out to Igor Tudor. Stimac wants it, and what he wants, he usually gets. Well, they both left it for each other then, Kovac and Stimac. Free kicks actually been given to Croatia, but they were living dangerously then.
They've just lost their composure a bit, Croatia. Starting to get about them now. Deny them any time on the ball. And even the best sides need a bit of time.
Stanic flicked it on. Here's Balaban. Oh, Balaban sends it into the side netting, but he escaped the attention of Matt Elliott and might have done better, the Villa man.
Well, he's got to hit the target here. Opens up beautifully for him here. Matt Elliott slips. He's on his favourite side, and he should be hitting the target. Had Stanic in support if he wanted to square it as well.
Croatia ahead as far as attempts at goal are concerned. Scotland yet to find the targets, but it's 0-0. McCann might have to go all the way back to his keeper. Then again, perhaps not, but Soldo nipped in ahead of Lambert, and now it's Prosinecki. Christian Daly. Lambert, for whom this World Cup campaign will be his swan song. Poor pass from Lambert. Scotland allowing Iani to progress, and he's still going, and Christian Daly is, well, I thought he was going to be a corner, but it's a goal kick actually.
Yeah, once again, it's an unusual mistake from Paul Lambert, and normally the ball is his prisoner. Just a rare moment of slackness there, puts us on the back foot again.
Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but later on today, Germany play England. It's on Sky Sports 1 with interactive coverage available on Sky Sports Extra, live from Munich. A colossal contest between two of the game's giants. Šipkovic. Tudor. Tudor. Balaban knocks it out of it by Christian Daly. He has gone to ground a bit too quickly a couple of times in this game. Boško Balaban, £6 million signing for Aston Villa from Dinamo Zagreb. Here's McCann. Gary Naismith looking to put Christian Daly in. Daly across to Paul Lambert. Now Burley. Is he going to have a pop? He runs into trouble in the shape of Soldo, but Hutchison is there. Hutchison grounded, but Forlorn appeals for a penalty. A free kick has been given as Craig Burley gets a little bit too involved with Thomas.
Well, Hutchison might have a case here. It was Stimac who goes up. Yeah, played the ball to be fair to him.
Hutchison, a latecomer to the international scene, of course, but 6 goals in 16 games for Scotland and so much more besides. Robert Kovac of Bayern Munich. Hutchison's tackle actually proved to be beneficial to Scotland as we enter the final 5 minutes of the first half. Hutchison and Yanni are a little bit too close together for the referee's liking. He's just come across to have a word. And
yeah, we just don't want Gordon Hutchison picking up a yellow card here, Louis.
Yes, having lost Neil McCann for the Belgian game, they really need John Hutchison out there in Brussels. But he too, like McCann, came into this game a yellow card away from a ban. So too, in fact, is Gary Naismith. He's just been floored by Šipkovic.
Once again, for me, that's a yellow card, and that's just a cynical body check.
Well, Šipkovic was let off. Neil McCann is going to take on Šipkovic here, but it's cannoned off the Croat. It will be a corner, though, and some hope for Scotland as half-time approaches. Can Scotland deliver? Neil McCann delivers, and Weir, almost on the end of it, to positive effect, but in the end it drifted away for Thomas to retrieve. And Burley put him under pressure and forced him into conceding the throw. Thomas was having a right go at his teammates. He would have appreciated some support there. Craig Burley steered away by Stimac. It's going to be collected though by Gary Naismith. Neil McCann. Matteo proved to be an effective barrier as Croatia tried to put the pressure on and to push out. Burley. Hutchison. Oh, Lambert to Burley to Dominic Matteo, and he's put Naismith in. Naismith delivers, Burley nearly there, Scott Bloom nearly there, nearly, but not quite.
Well, they had three there to choose from there. Neil McCann, Greg Burley, and Scott Booth at the back post. Terrific ball played in from Gary Naismith, between keeper and last defender. And we can't get a blue jersey on it. Best chance we've had so far, best ball we've had. Dropped into the perfect area there by Naismith. And unfortunately, no one on the end of it.
Almost for Craig Brown. Elliott. Scotland hoping to end the half on a high. McCann, though, will never get to that. A minute of added on time in this first half. Two teams who have kept it pretty tight in this World Cup qualifying group throughout their campaign, so perhaps it's no great surprise that it's goalless at the moment. The Tartan Army find their voice. Will they find their way to Japan and South Korea? Into the last minute of the half, with a minute to be added on as well, though. Burley. Still away from Yanni. Lambert. David Weir offside against Neil McCann. Has struggled to get into the Rangers team this season, a bit like Billy Dodds, who has never let his country down, but who had to settle for a place on the bench today. Dodds had only played 20 minutes of football, in fact, with Rangers. Lambert mopping up, and finding his former Celtic teammate Craig Burley. Old firm rival Neil McCann looks for Lambert, but he was trapped all the way by Thomas. Daly gets it back after his initial mistake. Naismith, Matteo. Naismith beat Tudor to it. Hutchison. Daly. Lambert. McCann. Can he open up Croatia? He will need assistance from Naismith. Decent cross away by Thomas. He'd come back to help his defence. Paul Lambert is there, though. Matteo to Naismith. Christian Daly waiting. It comes to Craig Burley. Plenty of power on that. Well held by the keeper, but a fine strike.
Yeah, it's a decent effort, and had Pleticosa spilled it, Neil McCann would have been able to tap it into the net.
It's half-time
for Scotland, though.
It's half-time at Hampden. That was the last kick of the half. It always promised to be a very close contest, and it's turning out that way. We will hear next from Charlie Nicholas and Gary McAllister with Jim. But at the break in this World Cup qualifier, it's Scotland 0, Croatia 0.
From a wasp during the first half. The wasp is fine way here. Let's go back to Ian Crocker and David Provan.
Thanks, Jim. Yes, 50,000 people in the stadium, and the Wasp chooses the referee. That must say something. Croatia are ready to start the second half. No goals so far at Hampden Park. Belgium top the group with 14 points. Then come Croatia, 11 points. Goals for 10, goals against 2. Scotland, 11 points also. Goals for 10 also. Goals against 3. It really is that tight. One goal between these teams in the group, and you get the feeling, the way it's gone so far today, that if there is going to be a winner, there might be one goal between them again today. No changes at the start of the second half. Croatia, of course, have Davor Šuker on the bench. He's without a club at the moment. Might well see him at some stage. Kozinecki certainly unlikely to last the 90 minutes. Živkovic, Soldo, Mario Stanic. Now Prozinecki, first-time centre, and David Weir was very brave because Stanic had his boot up.
Did well there, David Weir. Lovely little triangle on the right-hand side there. And David Weir managed to get himself round the back. But I think Scotland would be reasonably encouraged by the way they finished that first half here. And if we can just back them up the same way we did towards the end of that first half, try and play the game in their half of the pitch, we can still win this one.
Hutchison might open up for him here. He's looked to put Neil McCann in. And Yarni did enough to fend him off, did very well in fact.
Well, it showed good pace, Yarni. Because Neil McCann is as quick as they come here. Good ball inside, Yarni. And he does very well there to match Neil McCann's run. He must be well short of match fitness here because he hasn't been playing for his club.
Yes, out of favour at Las Palmas. Croatia's most capped player, winning his 70th cap today. He can list amongst his former clubs, Coventry and Real Madrid, and not many can. Hutchison rising, but it was won by Robert Kovac. McCann, though, has found Burley. Stimac covering. Might just roll for the throw, though. It does. David Weir, who turned out to be a bit of a bargain buy for Everton when his contract was running out at Heart. Here's Hutchison. Stimac. Thomas. Paul Lambert steps in for Scotland. Prozinecki close to him. Christian Daly. Burley. Hutchison. Kovac has gone with him, but it's going to dribble behind anyway, much to the dismay of Don Hutchison. He has returned to East London for a second spell with West Ham. Hutchison, in fact, might have been playing in Glasgow, of course. Rangers were keen to sign him. But his missus wanted to go south, and whatever your missus wants to do, you do, I suppose. McCann. Rather blatantly obstructed by Soldo, who's already on a yellow card. Matteo. Nicely to Daly. Now Naismith. Surprise choice in the starting lineup. Here's Stanic. Survived the challenge from Burley. He's going to get the free kick eventually, though. David Weir has taken him out.
The referee did the right thing. He let it go to see if there was going to be an advantage for Stanic, and eventually pulled them back.
Scotland have only lost 2 of their last 32 competitive matches on home soil. Both those defeats came in the year of 1999 to the Czech Republic and to England. Thomas. Oops. One to forget for Thomas. Mirko Jozic has had a varied coaching career with Sporting Lisbon, with the Chilean national team, with the Yugoslavian under-21 side. Vast experience, and unbeaten as Croatian coach in 6 games. Will that run come to an end today? The majority inside Hampden hope so. Sullivan kept it in. Wouldn't have quite have pleased the groundsman, though, because he took out a large chunk of turf in doing so. Igor Tudor. Scotland are going to bring on Colin Cameron shortly, I believe. Soldo. Away by Weir. Neil McCann's got the free kick, and he might be the man to make way here, actually, because Well, they've taken it quickly, so the substitution will have to wait. Prosinecki. Seeking out Yarni and finding him, although it gathered pace en route. And Yarni couldn't quite get to it. And Scotland will now take off Neil McCann and bring on Colin Cameron of Wolves. And it feels rather strange saying that. The former Hearts captain recently made a move to the Midlands. He's coming on for Neil McCann.
Well, to be fair to Neil McCann, they haven't really managed to get him on the ball in the areas where he does his best work. Haven't really managed to get him involved. But Colin Cameron, more than capable of getting himself into the box, going beyond the front two and getting us a goal. An indication that Craig Brown wants to win this game, because I think as this game wears on, Croatia may decide that they'll try and see it through. A draw would suit them nicely.
Neil McCann, remember, picking up a yellow card which rules him out of the midweek trip to Belgium, so no further part for him to play this week in Scotland's World Cup plans. Doesn't look too impressed either, does he? But then I don't think I've ever met a footballer who's been that impressed when they've been taken off for whatever reason. Balaban, Prosinecki, Živkovic, Soldo, Balaban, and Prosinecki was beaten to it by Naismith. Cameron gets his first touch and gives it to Craig Burley. Tudor. Stanic beat everyone to it. Now Balaban. Decent cross. Ooh, and Elliott came in ahead of Sullivan. There was no Croat around.
He did the right thing. You don't wait for a shout in that situation, you get it out.
Cameron finds Scott Booth. Lambert unable to take it on for Scotland. Živkovic. Cut out by Christian Daly. Matteo gets it back from Lambert. Rather lost his way though. The only other meeting between these countries came in this World Cup group, of course, last October in Zagreb, a 1-1 draw. Both the scorers that day, Alan Boksic and Kevin Gallagher, sidelined through injury for this one. Živkovic. And he's got his cross in, but Elliott held firm. Stanic might just retrieve it though. Weir goes with him. And Lambert. Well, Elliott's going to make sure that one goes behind, just as well. Christian Daly. Lambert. Don't suppose that was obstruction by any chance. Soldo was already on a yellow card.
I think it did Paul Lambert a favour because he'd overrun the ball there. I don't complain though.
Naismith. Hutchison. No free kick that time as Tudor stood up to him. Elliott winning his 16th cap. Might have been more, but he went into the wilderness a bit after getting sent off for his country. Naismith floated up. The offside flag was up against Don Hutchison. Tudor's mistake might just give Scott Booth a sniff here, but Živkovic has held firm. Now he almost got another whack there, Scott Booth, but the free kick's been given against him.
Naismith did well. A bit of backers here now though with Gary Naismith and Tudor. But originally Živkovic did well after Tudor put him in border on the touchline. He was born well. The left elbow's up there. I think that's what Scott Booth's unhappy about.
The young referee calming things down between Naismith and Tudor. Pick on someone your own size, Tudor. Unfortunately, there'll be a slight delay because we have a streaker on the field at Hampden. Believe me, you don't really want to see that much of him, do you? I'm not being funny, but it's always a bloke when you get one of these, sadly. It's surprising that he managed to get on without a bib here at Hampden, because the stewards don't let you go anywhere without a bib. So goodness knows how he managed to breach them. I wish the stewards reacted a little bit quicker than catching us without our bibs in this ground, but never mind. Prosinecki. Tudor. David Weir now. A bit of a lull in proceedings, but Sullivan's clearance will be chased by Scott Booth. Now Thomas is rolling around. A little bit too much for everybody's liking. Cameron involved.
It's a pity we see so much of this often, I mean, because they're great to watch, but this is the downside of them.
Well, it's an interesting goal from elsewhere in the World Cup qualifiers today. Iceland lead the Czech Republic by 1-0, and of course Scotland or Croatia could face the Czechs in a playoff. Denmark and Bulgaria other possibilities. Elliott's header actually sets up Balaban for something. He was quickly crowded out though by Cameron and Burley, but the danger not over yet for Scotland, because Robert Yarni delivers and Weir stoops to conquer. Approaching the hour mark at Hampden Park. Scotland and Croatia locked together at 0-0. Not much between them at all. Even though Croatia started well, that was some effort from Igor Tudor.
I don't think the coach is too happy. Little wonder. It's a miracle to beat Neil Sullivan from that range.
Craig Burley. Scott Booth. Grappling with Kovac. Stimac launching it into touch.
Just wonder how much longer Craig Byrne will give it before he brings Billy Dodds on. He obviously didn't think he was fit enough to go the distance here, but if you want to go, Billy Dodds is your man.
Well, there is half an hour to go. Dominic Matteo. Weir. Stanic in close attendance. Elliott. Hutchison will challenge for this, and it eluded him and Stimac, and Tudor just took it away from the incoming Naismith. Thomas, Stanic. Well, Neil McCann can't really get in the Rangers team, but he's had more of a sniff at Ibrox this season than Billy Dodds, but Dodds never lets his country down and is sure to play a part soon, you would think. That's going to carry to Hutchison. Oh, just couldn't bring it under control, unfortunately for Scotland, and he's also conceded a free kick.
Just got to keep his cool down, Hutchison. Well, they can't afford to go to Brussels without him in midweek.
Hutchison, a latecomer to the international arena, but he has made a massive contribution to the Scottish cause. It's actually stayed in that. Cameron and Hutchison trying to combine. Kovac being hassled by Cameron, and a free kick for Scotland. Robert Kovac joined Bayern Munich in the summer from Bayer Leverkusen, as did his brother, who made the move to Munich from Hamburg. His brother Nico is amongst the subs for Croatia today. Both of them played in Ireland last month. Well, the flag went up straight away as soon as the free kick was taken. And Billy Dodds, I think, will soon be with us. Soldo up to Stanic, now Boško Balaban of Aston Villa. 6 goals in 8 games for his country. Živkovic trying to force his way through. And credit to Cameron, who won it back, albeit briefly. Stimac to Tudor. Kovac gives it to Prosinecki, and he finds Tudor. Živkovic hugging the touchline. Oh, Naismith came flying in at him, but here is Živkovic advancing with promise. Mario Stanic now looking to turn, and a dive from Stanic.
Has to be looking for that.
David Weir was furious, and no wonder. It was a blatant dive from Stanic, and Sullivan comes out to have a pop as well. Well, Stanic was in the wrong, no doubt about it.
Yeah, he's the one man that's given us more problems than anyone else here. He's a terrific footballer, but sorry.
Well, he has got a yellow card for a rather blatant dive, Mario Stanic, and rightly so. When you consider the talent that he has, he really doesn't need to resort to that. Good spot from the ref. Mind you, it wasn't hard to spot, to be fair. Burley shrugs off Yanni. It's a throw for Scotland, and Burley is a man in a hurry. Finds Don Hutchison. Just nicked away from him by Robert Kovac. The Tartan Army trying to get behind their Hamden heroes. Burley will take this throw. Gets it back from Hutchison. Burley delivers, but the goalkeeper untroubled. Pretikosa, who won the Croatian title last year with hat-trick split, handball by Stanic. The linesman's actually flagged for it. Can't believe the referee didn't see it himself, to be fair.
It seemed to take an awful long time to give it. Stanic certainly thought he was being allowed to carry on.
So Mario Stanic, the 4th man to see a yellow card in this game, along with Soldo, Elliott, and McCann, who's been subbed. McCann out of the Belgian match. vital World Cup qualifying points up for grabs in Glasgow. Burley looking to return it to Hutchison, but Croatia deal with it comfortably. It's aimed towards Balaban. Now his flick on. I don't think Prosinecki. It did get there, to be fair. Didn't look likely at first. Zivkovic went in with both feet, I think.
I think he's complaining Gary Naismith was high, but to be fair, both of them going in a bit high there.
Christian Daly's free kick. Firmly away by Tudor. Prosinecki. That's one way to do it. Kovac. Yanni. Stanic. Patient passing again from Croatia, but Colin Cameron intervenes, and that's actually cannoned off Stanic. So it will be a Scotland throw midway through the second half. No goals. Hutchison. Elliott. Straight to Tudor though. Zivkovic. Neat stuff this from Croatia. Balaban leaves it for Prosinecki. Tudor across towards Yanni, whose touch let him down unusually. Elliott floats it up towards Hutchison, and it does get to him as well. And he's got Cameron to his right. Hutchison. It won't quite carry to Cameron though, and it's cleared by Thomas.
Good defending by Thomas, who saw the run all the way there and matched it.
Craig Burley would quite like somebody to come close to him. Hutchison is the man. And that's a little touch off Cameron, it'll be a goal kick. Approaching the final 20 minutes of this World Cup contest. Burley. Hutchison will chase it. Kovac is there for Croatia. He's had to, it's not actually gone out, straight up into the sky. Now this is better from Scotland, Matteo to Lambert. Weir leaves it for Matt Elliott. Matteo to Naismith.
They might just think they can see this one out now, and you'd expect them to beat San Marino on Wednesday. That would leave them having to win against Belgium, perhaps to finish top of the group.
Yep, they'll certainly fancy their trip to San Marino. Cameron has flicked it on, and it didn't quite fall for Booth, and Tudor knocked it back to his keeper.
He's almost in there, Scott Booth, and he knows it. Just a bit too much on the flick on.
Well, in the efforts to find a goal, both teams are going to make a change shortly. Davor Suker and Billy Dodds are ready to make their entrance into the Hampden Arena. Hutchison. Burley. We need a goal in this game, and Scotland will be hoping that Billy Dodds can provide it. He usually does for Scotland. Croatia will be hoping that Davor Suker can provide it. He usually does for Croatia. Suker with 44 goals in 64 internationals. A remarkable record, really. Without a club at the moment, he's going to replace Mario Stanic of Chelsea. Suker left West Ham at the end of last season, and you'd have thought somebody might have snapped him up by now, maybe even one of the big Glasgow clubs.
That's a fabulous scoring record, Dave, and what a nice guy as well.
Scott Booth has put in a sturdy effort for Scotland, but he's going to be replaced by a man who often delivers when called upon. Billy Dodds, 3 goals in his last 3 internationals. Can he break down Croatia in this one?
Up a chance, that's all it takes, and he's your man. He'll certainly be fit enough to give us the last 18 minutes or so.
Lambert, stopped in his tracks by Tudor. Cameron beavering away. Here's Burley. Tom Ash is quickly on him, so he has to go back to Elliott. Cameron fouled by Robert Yarney. Free kick in a promising position for Scotland.
Yeah, a chance to throw one into the back post, and there doesn't seem to be too many chances coming up in normal play here. Set piece might be the best bet.
Scotland's captain Paul Lambert delivers. Goalkeeper coming low, and goalkeeper claiming, and comfortably so. Davor Suker on as a sub, top scorer at the last World Cup, of course. He won the Golden Boot in France. Beware him, and beware Balaban now. Balaban bearing down, but safely taken by Sullivan. Just as well Balaban didn't pull it back, because Suker had advanced into the box. Kovac under pressure from Billy Dodds. Dodds actually missed the game in Croatia last year. His wife was giving birth. Weir launches one. Hutchison and Tudor quickly in. Davor Suker. Marble wasted somewhat by Croatia, but Scotland won't be complaining with a quarter of an hour to go. David Weir of Everton leaves it for Burley. Here's Weir. Prosinecki. And he gets it back. Scored from the spot for Portsmouth at Stockport last week, Robert Prosinecki. There had been a little rumour, in fact, that Davor Suker might join him at Portsmouth. Suker still without a club. But that hasn't quite materialised yet. Croatia are going to bring on another striker shortly in Davor Vugrinec, who scored with a header against Ireland last month. And Tudor's going to get a card here. I think it had been coming for a while for Igor Tudor, and he will miss the trip to San Marino in midweek. Hutchison. Hutchison left a foot in and caught Thomas. Don Hutchison, if he gets through this game without a yellow card, will have got through 3 games, in fact, without a yellow card, which is good going, because he too has been treading a thin line as far as suspension is concerned.
Yeah, the physical side is a big part of his game as well, Ian, so he really was walking on eggshells going into this one this afternoon. Getting up to a very twitchy stage of the game now.
Balaban, Davor Šuker, even on the ground, he managed to send it through to Soldo, and now Prosinecki. Prosinecki seeking out Šuker, might take it on the volley, decides against it, and it's bounced over the line. Goal kick. Croatia are going to take off Robert Prosinecki, one of their main men, and waiting to replace him is Davor Vugrinec. Prosinecki, 30 cigarettes a day apparently, but still going, just about, at the age of 32. Prosinecki replaced by Vugrinec, who scored against the Irish. Can he score against the Scottish? Kovac having to cover. Are we going to get a winner in this World Cup qualifier? Burley, Weir, Hutchison, fended off Kovac, and Burley was caught by Kovac, and that's going to be a free kick, is it? Or maybe not.
Well, I thought they'd given it, Ian, but it appears that it hasn't. It would have been a free kick and a lovely position for us. The referee might have felt that Craig Burnley just goes to ground a bit too willingly here.
No free kick, goal kick. Burley winning his 43rd cap today. Weir, Hutchison on for Cameron. Good idea. Bit too much on it. Here's Thomas, Šuker, and Christian Daly quickly in. But here's Boško Balaban. Match taking a more direct route to Šuker, and with Šuker and Vugrinec and Balaban around, Croatia are certainly going for it a bit as well. Scotland, remember, were caught out late on by Belgium here, 2-0 up. They were hauled back for a 2-2 draw. They can't afford too many late slip-ups, but Mirko Josic will be hoping that his Croatian side can nick one before they go to San Marino in midweek, where they might just nick more than one. But they will go there without Igor Tudor. He'll be banned. Inside the last 10 minutes. Scotland 0, Croatia 0. Šuker sends it back to Zivkovic, and he got his cross in, and Balaban was loitering. Burley, unfortunate slip from Cameron. Burley.
Crowd have gone very quiet here. I think they're every bit as uptight as the players here, and at times the players can do with the crowd just giving them a lift for this last 10 minutes, and they're obviously feeling the strain as well.
Yanni floats it in. Oh, it's come all the way through to Davor Suker. Little flick from him, didn't quite come off, and Sullivan able to collect. Offside.
Yeah, Steve Archer's run that back three magnificently this afternoon. Billy Dodds, as usual, just playing in the shoulder of the last defender in. And you just wonder if there's one chance to be had.
Well, this has suddenly been taken up by Vugonets and Balaban. Scott Gemmell and Igor Bischan are going to join us for the closing stages as both teams contemplate more changes. Here's Paul Lambert for Scotland. 3 points are there to be taken. Dodds, firm challenge from Stimac on him though. Coming later, a massive match, a monumental match from Munich. It's Germany against England. It's on Sky Sports 1 and interactive coverage available on Sky Sports Extra. Absolutely unmissable. Croatia trying to sneak one themselves here. Zivkovic though, and good covering in the end from Gary Naismith.
That's a great walk. He really couldn't afford that ball to come back across goal there. He did well.
Before the throw is taken, there's going to be another substitution for Croatia. Tomas is going to come off, and on comes a rather familiar figure, Liverpool's Igor Bischan. He's actually only started a couple of games this season for Liverpool, but he comes on for his 15th cap. Scotland will shortly bring on Scott Gemmell, but not yet. Zivkovic does get the chance to take his throw. And Zivkovic goes for a long one, which could drop anywhere. Fortunately for Scotland, it was cleared by David Weir. Bischan just on, was caught out by the bounce, and there could be a break on here. Billy Dodds. Burley and Yanni quickly on.
Well, not a great deal in it in terms of possession, and very few chances in the second half as well. It has been a stalemate.
Dodds. Lambert. Burley gets a cross in, but it's away by Tudor. Only to Dominic Matteo though. Naismith, and he could be in here. Oh, what a challenge from Tudor, but it comes to Burley, and the flag is up. The flag is up, and it's not going to count for Billy Dodds.
Well, they must have thought he had scored, didn't he? Flag, to be fair, was up immediately. Driven ball. Yeah, he's a fraction off there, half a yard. Billy Dodds in where he's made his living for his career.
And it would have been typical of Dodds to nick it for Scotland, as Gary Naismith, who was involved in that attack, comes off to be replaced by Scott Gemmell, who wins his 18th cap. Gemmell scored with a fantastic volley against Middlesbrough for Everton last week. Something similar would come in handy now for Scotland, but he hasn't ever scored for them. There's a first time for everything, mind you. Balaban. This is Davor Vugonets. He plays for Lecce in Italy. And that'll be, the referee's played a decent advantage there, which will be a benefit for Soldo, because he's already on a yellow card. Dominic Matteo is in here, sending it across to Billy Dodds. It might still get to Dodds. It's going to be a corner, in fact, because it had already gone over the line.
That's a crucial touch by Robert Kovac at the back post here. Dodds gets his arm up looking for it at the back post, and that is the touch that denied him.
A late flurry of activity in the Croatian box. Craig Burley floats it in, and Christian Daly heads it over.
Gets up well here, Christian Daly. Just not high enough to get over it and keep it down, though.
Well, there have been few attempts on goal, really, in this game. This has been a bit of a gritty contest at times. The Tartan Army sing merrily away, hoping their team can come up with something late on here. And they're certainly giving it a go. Hutchison doesn't get a free kick, though. Croatia, of course, themselves have every chance of nicking it as well. Free kick given against Bischan, taken quickly. Weir. Scotland in need of inspiration now, in need of a moment of magic. Elliott takes the direct route towards Don Hutchison, actually carries through to Billy Dodds. Dodds beavering away, now Burley sends it in, and it's going to be a corner for Scotland.
A good finish from Scotland, Dean. They look the side, we want it more.
The corner is actually taken pretty quickly, and nobody's picked up Christian Daly. But it's cleared by Soldo. Hutchison. And he's shrugged off Zivkovic. Send it in! Oh, Billy Dodds miscued of all people.
Well, Hutchison does well in the first place to get the cross in under pressure. Typical front post run from Billy Dodds. Difficult one to take. Not a good finish though from Scotland.
2 minutes of normal time left, and 2 minutes of added on time as well. Gemmell. Lambert, it's there for the taking, it's there for the winning, but it's also there for Croatia. Jani bursting away. Aiming it towards Vuganic, but away by Christian Daly. Only as far as Soldo, who sold Suker a little short, and Matteo's clearance will drift out. How about your man of the match today, Davey?
Well, we thought Igor Stimac had retired, Dean, after the game in Zagreb between the two sides, and came out of retirement for this one game, and he hasn't broken sweat. He's marshalled that back line superbly. Still a bit of work to do, though, but he's my Scottish Gas man of the match.
Away by Elliott. Scott Gemmell. Dodds. He had a goal ruled out for offside, and who came close with another chance. Here's Balaban, though. And Cameron decided that he wasn't going any further. Oscar Balaban. Suker, away by Elliott. A draw was the favoured outcome of this contest for most, and Mirko Josic said yesterday that he would certainly settle for it, especially with a trip to San Marino coming up in midweek. Zivkovic actually got his cross in, it's away by Elliott. 2 minutes of time added on then. But is there going to be a fabulous finish from one of these teams? Away by Lambert of sorts, and he gets it back. Gemmell gives it to Burley. Elliott remained calm. Now David Weir. Kovac beat Dodds to it, but it's a Scotland throw. There's still time. Burley just went out of play, and Craig Burley taking out.
He's too chuffed with that decision.
Taking out his frustration on the linesman. Scotland fly off to Belgium on Monday. Croatia head off to San Marino. The final games in the group are Croatia against Belgium and Scotland versus Latvia here next month. It really could be quite some finish to Group 6.
Well, I think the possession statistic tells us the story of this match, and it really has been a stalemate. And it would be a real sore one for either side to lose it now.
It looks like the last chance might go to Craig Brown, Scotland. And not to Mirko Josic's Croatia. Sullivan launches one. It's all over. It ends in a goalless draw. The World Cup dream, though, still alive for Craig Brown and for Scotland, but it's alive also for Mirko Josic and for Croatia. It did become a bit of a stalemate in the end between these two countries. They were locked together in Zagreb last year, and they were locked together here at Hampden Park this year. But still, plenty of action to come as Group 6 is sorted out. This encounter, though, finishes Scotland 0, Croatia 0.